describing learning. One is this one here, which is a model. I don't know whether any of you are aware of the Kolb learning cycle. It's quite famous in human resource development terms. If you are, that's the bottom one, ideas and action, which is a figure 8. The Kolb learning cycle is that twisted, and as individual learning, the top one, policy and operations, name being policy in the strategy sense, not the rule book sense, is where there's a policy idea. It's used to inform operations, hopefully on a pilot basis. It works or it doesn't work, and it gets modified when you go around that loop. Then the vertical 8 on the left is where senior managers and leaders consult downwards over a new policy idea. I think there's a book called The Machine That Changed the World about motor cars. Honda and the like consult the people who are building the exhaust systems and so on, and act according, whereas I think General Motors, developing a new model back at this time, and this is probably a decade or two ago, would have a separate team developing a new model, building a pilot plant, running test batches through it, and modifying it until it worked, which is a slower and probably more expensive way of doing it. And then the right-hand loop is operations and action. The kind of the policy strategy direction is set, but how to do it is up for question. So in the learning organization, an operational plan is tried out to see if it works, modified if it doesn't, and if that doesn't work, it has to go right back to policy, and that would be double loop learning in Chris Ardress's terms, if anybody knows that useful set of ideas. And you can imagine organizations getting blockages on any point in that. I don't know if you can see my cursor. So, for example, some organizations may brief people downwards but not really listen upwards, so there's a blockage there. Similar thing can happen there, and so on and so forth. Or you can get grand policy statements that just stay as that, a boardroom debate, but don't sort of translate into action, and so on. So individuals learn, but they learn within the constraints of both the policy and direction they're working to, and the directional constraints from their operational managers. So that's briefly how that works. And as I may say more later, you can use this as a diagnostic framework. For example, I've had people physically in a room sort of standing where they think they're mainly engaged and talking to each other about where the problems and issues are in their interaction in these terms.